Here's a photo of Times Square in the 90s. Now here's a photo of Times Square in the Big 26. Lately, it feels like companies are competing to see who can blind us the fastest. I've legit never moved my phone's brightness slider past halfway, yet every year the new one is 40% brighter. Brighter for who? Incompetent welders? They need phones in heaven or something? Who's maxing this shit out? But hey, at least you control your phone's brightness yourself. So if you get flashbanged at 3 in the morning because earlier you were watching Busty Latina 7 at 100% on both ends, that's kinda on you. But what about when you can't control it? Hey, car companies. Me? Yeah, f***ing all of you. Listen, I get that you want your customers to have the best visibility at night, but it won't f***ing matter how bright your lights are if we all take turns blinding each other. And it's bad enough fighting for my life against modern headlights. Now every highway has these giant digital billboards competing for whatever attention span I had left. At some point, we all just silently agreed that getting our eyeballs eviscerated by everyday objects was part of being alive. But this wasn't some evil plot to blind humanity. Every one of these technologies got brighter because engineers were solving completely unrelated problems. Better screens, better headlights, better signs, all make sense on their own. The thing is, nobody ever bothered to question what happens when the solution to every problem becomes more f***ing light. For most of history, humanity's approach to lighting was simple. If it's dark, set something on fire. First we lit a branch, then a candle, then oil, then gas. Every step was just us getting slightly better at controlled arson. Then after thousands of years of setting random shit on fire, people figured out how to make light with electricity. And within about 5 minutes, grown men started beefing over who invented it first. There were inventors all over the world racing to build a practical light bulb, filing patents, suing each other, and generally behaving exactly how you'd expect the tech industry to behave. Who gets the credit depends on where you draw the line. Who made the first one? Who made one that actually lasted? Who made one people could afford? But it makes sense why they'd all want their share of fame. Inventing light is like the ultimate flex. Clearly they thought this shit would put them on the same level as Jesus. I imagine them just walking up to other inventors cocky as shit just, "Oh, what did you invent? Barbed wire? Huh, nice one, buddy. I made the fucking sun obsolete." But regardless of whose name ended up in the history books, the incandescent light bulb carried humanity for over a century. It lit homes, streets, factories. People could finally stop speedrunning house fires just to see at night. But for all the hype, the actual tech behind it was pretty simple. You take a tiny wire, dump electricity into it, and keep going until it's so unbelievably hot that it physically can't stop glowing. Everything was going great until oxygen got involved. Turns out, if you get a tiny wire that hot in open air, it just kind of burns away. So they sealed it inside a glass bulb and removed the air. And now you have a wire that can glow white hot without unaliving itself. The problem though was that heat came first. Light was basically the byproduct. It's the same reason the coils inside a toaster glow red. Get something hot enough and it'll start making light. So every light bulb was also a tiny space heater. But what are you gonna do? Go back to oil lamps like a peasant? Of course we didn't stop there. Enter neon. Instead of making a wire glow, they filled glass tubes with gas and ran electricity through them. The electricity excited the gas and the whole tube lit up, and neon signs took over. Light wasn't something that just illuminated a street anymore. It was selling casinos, motels, diners. If your business wanted attention, you made it glow. However, neon signs were a bit of a pain in the ass. Every tube had to be heated, bent by hand, filled with gas, and wired up by someone who clearly didn't value their weekends. So despite how iconic they became, there was still a practical limit to how many you could build. Then LEDs showed up. Instead of making something ridiculously hot, LEDs made light inside a tiny piece of material called your peanut, a semiconductor. When electricity passes through it, its electrons get all excited and shit and jump to a higher energy state. Then as they drop back down to a lower energy level, they release that extra energy as light instead of mostly heat. The cool part? Change the material, change the color. One material gives you red, another gives you green, orange, yellow. Scientists figured those out decades ago. But blue was a nightmare. For years, nobody could make a practical blue LED, which was a huge problem because without blue, you couldn't make white light. So LEDs spent decades just sitting on calculators, TVs, alarm clocks, basically just letting you know when something was turned on. Then in the early 90s, someone finally cracked blue.
Let me tell you something. All right. Let me tell you.
The reason blue took so long is because it needs way more energy than red or green. Scientists eventually landed on gallium nitride as the material that could make it happen. Except getting that material to behave was like trying to build Lego with half the pieces slightly up. Once they figured out how to make better crystals, blue LEDs finally worked. And that tiny blue light changed everything. Because LEDs weren't just a better light bulb, they were basically lighting with the restrictions removed. They lasted way longer, used way less power, barely got hot, you can make them microscopic or powerful enough to turn night into daytime. For once, making light wasn't the expensive part anymore. And when something gets cheap, humans do what humans do best. We use way too much of it. Suddenly, every screen needed to be brighter so we can view it in direct sunlight. Every car needed brighter headlights so we can see through the darkness, the rain, and apparently the souls of everyone driving towards us. And every sign needed to have a nit measuring contest with the one next to it. And that's pretty much how we ended up here. A world where every individual light technically makes sense, but all of them together is slowly turning Earth into a giant showroom. We didn't just make the world brighter, we basically started overriding nighttime. Your brain evolved a pretty simple system. Sun goes down, cool, we're done for the day. Then we showed up and went, nah. Our brains are still running on the same software humans had thousands of years ago. Except now the sun can fit in your pocket and yell notifications at you, and we're not the only ones confused. Animals evolved around predictable patterns of light and dark. Insects, birds, and other wildlife use those signals to navigate, hunt, hide, and know when to be active. But now we're replacing those natural cues with artificial ones. So what can we do about it? Well shit, honestly, this video was just supposed to be a 3 to 4 minute rant about how bright modern tech is, so I don't exactly have some detailed plan for you, but I'd also be lying if I said I didn't have some ideas. Idea 1. Companies should only be allowed to use black people for digital billboards. Think about it. That's basically advertising in dark mode. One sec. Hello? What do you mean I can't say that? Racist? How the f is it racist? It's inclusive if anything. I mean, I guess it would be weird to have an ad of a black guy advertising swimming lessons. Alright, it, we'll workshop that idea. Alrighty, stepping away from billboards, I think I have a solution for those annoying ass headlights. Hear me out. A lot of new cars already have cameras and sensors for cruise control and automatic high beams and shit, so we can just use them to adjust the headlights. Car coming, dim them and warm them up like the old halogen bulbs. Empty road, go full floodlight. And can we just have more automatic lights in general? We already have street lights that can detect movement, so why are we lighting up empty roads and parking lots at 3 AM like we're expecting Batman? If nobody's around, shut them off, or at least dim the damn things. I know this isn't some perfect solution, especially in sus places where lighting actually helps deter crime, but shit, we gotta start somewhere. And for my last idea, can we just stop putting bright lights and screens in basic household shit? I don't need my air fryer glowing like it's about to enter Avatar state. And why the hell does my blender even need Bluetooth? I swear to God, if I walk into IKEA one day and the toilet starts showing me unskippable ads while I'm trying to take a shit, please subscribe.